Hare Krishna.
Hare
So,
Krishna.
our reading of Sri Bhagavad Gita as it is. We're on the introduction and we are just starting on ninth page. Baba, I can't see your video. Hello. Hare Krishna. You're muted. I can't hear you.
Hello.
Baba, can you move your computer a little down, pa, so I can see you, see your full face? Yeah, now better. Okay.
So we were on. So what have we read so far? That our relations with Lord has been eternal.
Yes, we all have a relationship with Krishna.
And we are finite jiva.
Yeah, so we have a relationship with Krishna which we have forgotten. Our relationship with Krishna is in 5 different ways. Passive state, which is Shantaras. So Shantaras is like animals, peacocks, like that relationship with Krishna. Active state is Dasyaras, which is like Hanumanji. As a friend is like Arjun, Sakhyaras. Parent is Vatsalya, Nanda Maharaj, Yashoda, or conjugal lover like Gopis or Radharani. So we all have some relationship like this with Krishna in these 5 ways, but we have now forgotten that relationship. And how do we evoke that relationship? By perfection of devotional service.
There are 5 eternally, which is happening. Time.
Yes. So it is time. No, first Ishvara, then Jiva. So from Ishwar, then we have Jiva, then Prakriti, Kal, which is time. Those are 4 things which are eternal. And karma, karma is not eternal, and karma can be changed. And how can we change the karma? We can change this karma by making our knowledge. This change depends on the perfection of our knowledge.
Perfection of knowledge, and then we also read Prakriti is not permanent, though it is eternal, but it keeps manifesting.
Yeah, Prakriti is not false, but it is not permanent. It manifests and it unmanifests, just like examples were given of cloud, of sky, of rain, seasons, just like that. So we'll start from there.
Yeah. So now we are on 9th page. Hare Krishna.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, I will start. The position of Ishvara, the Supreme Lord, is that of supreme consciousness. The jivas, or the living entities, being parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, are also conscious. Both the living entity and material nature are explained as Prakriti, the energy of the Supreme Lord. But one of the two, the jiva, is conscious. The other Prakriti is not conscious, which is this material world.
Material world, okay.
That is the difference. Therefore, The Jiva Prakriti is called superior because the Jiva has consciousness which is similar to the Lord's. The Lord's is supreme consciousness, however, and one should not claim that the Jiva, the living entity, is also supremely conscious.
Again, the Lord is supreme consciousness. However,
One
and
should
one should
not.
not claim that the jiva, the living entity, is also supremely conscious. Okay, it is conscious, but it is finite consciousness.
So, what this means is we are conscious of our body. We know what is happening in our mind, but we are still not conscious what is happening in our tummy or in our lungs. But Krishna is supremely conscious. He knows what is happening in me, he knows what's happening in you and in every jiva soul. So he is supremely conscious. However, one should not claim that the jiva, the living entity, is also supremely conscious. The living being cannot be supremely conscious at any stage of his perfection. And the theory that he can be so is a misleading theory. Conscious he may be, but he is not perfectly or supremely conscious. The distinction between the Jiva and the Ishvara will be explained in the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. The Lord is Kshetrajna, conscious, as is the living being, but the living being is conscious of his particular body, whereas the Lord is conscious of all bodies. Because he lives in the heart of every living being, he is conscious of the psychic movements of the particular jivas. We should not forget this. It is also explained that the Paramatma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is living in everyone's heart as Ishvara, as the controller, and that he is giving directions for the living entity to act as he desires. The living entity forgets what to do. First of all, he makes a determination to act in a certain way, and then he is entangled in the actions and reactions of his own karma.
First of all, he makes a determination to act in a certain way, and then he is engaged in the actions and reactions of his own karma. So our action also depends on our own karma.
Our actions, yes, based on our desires, what desire and what determination we make to do. After giving up one type of body, he enters another type of body as we take off and put on clothes. As the soul thus migrates, he suffers the action and reactions of his past activities. These activities can be changed when the living being is in the mode of goodness, insanity, and understands what sort of activities he should adopt. If he does so, then all the actions and reactions of his past activities can be changed.
Or if he does it in the mode of goodness,
Correct. If he does it in mode of goodness, then all actions and reactions of his past activities can be changed. Consequently, karma is not eternal. Therefore, we stated that of the five items, Ishvara, Jiva, Prakriti, time, and karma, four are eternal, whereas karma is not eternal because it can be changed. Okay, fine, your turn.
the supreme conscious Ishvara is similar to the living entity in this way. Both the consciousness of the Lord and that of the living entity are transcendental. It is not that consciousness is generated by the association of matter. That is mistaken idea. The theory that consciousness develops under certain circumstances of material combination is not accepted in the Bhagavad Gita. Consciousness may be pervertedly reflected by the covering of material circumstances. Just as light reflected through a colored glass may appear to be certain color, but the consciousness of the Lord is not materially affected. Lord Krishna says, Maya Dyakshina
Maya Dakshena Prakriti.
Prakriti. When he descends into the material universe, his consciousness is not materially affected. If he were so affected, he would be unfit to speak on transcendental matters, as he does in Bhagavad Gita. One cannot say anything about the transcendental world. One cannot say anything about it. without being free from materially contaminated consciousness. So the Lord is not materially contaminated because he's talking about a transcendental world. So that's why he's not
Just,
contaminated.
just like light, when it like sunlight, when it is coming through, just because it is coming through a colored glass, it doesn't mean that sun is now contaminated or sun has now changed color. Same way, when Krishna comes in this material world, it doesn't mean that Krishna is now materially contaminated. He's still pure.
Our consciousness at the present moment, however, is materially contaminated, but our consciousness is materially contaminated. The Bhagavad
Correct.
Gita teaches that we have to purify this materially contaminated consciousness. In pure consciousness, our actions will be dovetailed to the wall of the Ishvara, and that will make us happy.
To the will of Ishvara.
It is, yeah, will of the Ishvara. But we will
So
get aligned totally with the Ishvara.
yeah. So right now we are thinking, our consciousness is thinking we are the Lord. Everybody around us is here to serve us. We are thinking like that. But when we dovetail everything to the will of Krishna, that oh, we are actually eternal servants of Krishna in one of the five relationships, then we understand that then it becomes pure consciousness.
It is not that we have to cease all activities, rather, our activities are to be purified, and purified activities are called bhakti. Activities in bhakti appears to be like ordinary activities, but they are not contaminated. An ignorant person may see that the devotee is acting or working like an ordinary man, but such a person with a poor fund of knowledge does not know that the activities of the devotee or the Lord are not contaminated by impure consciousness or matter. They are transcendental to the three modes of nature. We should know, however, that at this point our consciousness is contaminated. When we are materially contaminated, we are called conditioned. False consciousness is exhibited under the impression that I am a product of material nature. This is called the false ego. One who is absorbed in the thought of bodily conception cannot understand situation. Bhagavad Gita was spoken to liberate one from the bodily conception of life. And Arjuna put himself in this position in order to receive this information from the Lord. One must become free from the bodily conception of life. That is preliminary activity of the transcendentalist. Oh, to come out from this body conception. He's a body. The
That
body
we are
is which is a false ego.
correct.
One who wants to become free, who wants to become liberated, must first of all learn that he is not this material body. Mukti or liberation means freedom from the material consciousness. So in the so Srimad Bhagavatam teaches mukti or liberation from this material consciousness that we are the body. In the Srimad Bhagavatam also, the definition of liberation is given. Mukti, okay, means liberation from the contaminated consciousness, okay, of the material world and situation in pure consciousness. All the instructions of Bhagavad Gita are intended to awaken this pure consciousness, and therefore we find at the last stage of the God's instruction that Krishna is asking Arjuna whether he is now in purified consciousness. Purified consciousness means acting in accordance with the instructions of the Lord. Thus, this is the whole sum and substance of purified consciousness. Consciousness is already there because we are part of the and parcel of the Lord. But for us, there is the affinity of being affected by the inferior modes. But the Lord, being the Supreme, is never affected. That's the difference between the Supreme Lord and the small individual souls.
So what is this consciousness? This consciousness is I am. And what am I? In contaminated consciousness, I am means I am the Lord of all I survey. I am the enjoyer. The world revolves because every living being thinks that he is the Lord and creator of the material world. Material consciousness has two psychic divisions. One is that I am the creator, and the other that I am the enjoyer. But actually, the Supreme Lord is both the creator and the enjoyer. And the living entity, being part and parcel of the Supreme Lord, is neither the creator nor the enjoyer, but a cooperator. He is created and the enjoyed. So we are enjoyed by Krishna. For instance, a
The
part
one
of
who
a
will have parcel of the Supreme Lord is neither the creator nor the enjoyer, but a cooperator. He is the created, he is the created and enjoyed. Okay, Krishna.
yes, exactly. But we start thinking that, oh, we are the owner of this house. We have created this. These are my kids. These are my parents. I I am to enjoy this house. This is my phone. I am to enjoy this phone. Like that, we start thinking. But nothing actually belongs to us. Everything belongs to Krishna. He is the creator, and we
The
are the
enjoyer too.
enjoyed. Yeah, he's the enjoyer. For instance, a part of a machine cooperates with the whole machine. A part of the body cooperates with the whole body. The hands, legs, eyes, and so on are all parts of the body, but they are not actually the enjoyers. The stomach is the enjoyer. The legs move. The hands supply food. The teeth chew. And all parts of the body are engaged in satisfying the stomach because the stomach is the principal factor that nourishes the body's organization. Therefore, everything is given to the stomach. One nourishes the tree by watering its root, and one nourishes the body by feeding the stomach. For if the body is to be kept in a healthy state, then the parts of the body must cooperate to feed the stomach. Similarly, the Supreme Lord is the enjoyer and the creator, and we, as subordinate living beings, are meant to cooperate to satisfy Him. This cooperation will actually help us, just as food taken by the stomach will help all other parts of the body. If the fingers of the hand think they should take the food themselves instead of giving it to the stomach, then they will be frustrated. The central figure of creation of the enjoyment is the Supreme Lord, and the living entities are cooperators. By cooperation, they enjoy. The relationship is also like that of the master and the servant. If the master is fully satisfied, then the servant is satisfied. Similarly, the Supreme Lord should be satisfied. Although the tendency to become the creator and the tendency to enjoy the material world are there, also in the living entities, because these tendencies are there in the Supreme Lord who has created the manifested cosmic world.
Hmm. We shall find, therefore, in this Bhagavad Gita that the complete whole is comprised of the Supreme Controller, the controlled living entities, the cosmic manifestation, eternal, time and karma, time, eternal time, manifestation, eternal time, and karma or activities, and all of these are explained in this text. All of these taken form form the complete whole, and the complete whole is called the Supreme Absolute Truth. The complete whole and the complete absolute truth are the complete personality of Godhead, Shri Krishna. All manifestations are due to his different energies. He is a complete whole. It is also explained in the Gita that impersonal Brahman is also subordinate to the complete supreme person. Brahman is more explicitly explained in the Brahma
Brahman. Brahman.
Brahman. Brahman is the universe.
Correct. Is more explicitly
Explained in the Brahma Sutra to be like the rays of the sunshine. The impersonal Brahman is the shining rays of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Impersonal Brahman is complete realization of the absolute whole, and so also is the conception of the Paramatma. In the 15th chapter, it shall be seen that the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Purushottama, is ever both impersonal Brahman and the partial realization of Paramatma.
Let me explain, Pa. So there are three concepts of Krishna. So Krishna, the person, he is known as Bhagwan.
Hmm.
Then from Bhagwan there is lot of light emitting out of Krishna, and it is considered like millions of suns. That much light is coming out from Krishna. So that light effulgence which is coming out from Krishna is called Brahman. Okay. And then there is a Paramatma feature of Krishna, which is actually in every jiva, with every jiva atma. So in every jiva's heart, Paramatma is also sitting. So Paramatma and jiva are both sitting like two birds on a tree. One bird is actually doing the work and one bird is just observing. So the observer is just Krishna and the person who's doing the work is the jiva. So those are the three aspects of Krishna: Bhagwan, impersonal Brahman, which is the effulgence, and then Paramatma feature. So impersonalists, they don't consider Krishna as a person. They want to merge into the Brahman.
Impersonals.
Impersonalists.
Those who says that Lord has no features, no colors, no forms, and things like that.
Yeah. So those people are called Mayavadis.
Hmm.
So they want to. That is their conception. Their conception of liberation or mukti is that we just want to merge into the impersonal Brahman.
Okay.
But if you merge into impersonal Brahman, you don't have any relationship with Krishna, because our main our main behavior is to serve. How we serve, that we don't remember, but we have an eternal relationship with Krishna to always serve him in one of those five relationships.
The personality of God is called Satchid Ananda.
Ananda Vigraha. Yeah. So Brahma Samhita begins in this way: Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam.
Krishna is the cause of all causes. He is the primal cause, and he is very form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss. Impersonal Brahman realization is the realization of his eternal features, or the Sat is the eternal feature. So we have this effulgence of Brahman, light, is the eternal feature of the Lord Krishna.
Impersonal Brahman realization is the realization of his Sat feature. Yes. Eternity.
Eternity features. Paramatma realization is the realization of Satsin, eternal
Sat
knowledge.
and Chit. Sat and Chit.
Satchit,
Eternal knowledge.
eternal knowledge. So this is eternal feature. So it means a personal Brahman realization is the realization of his Sat, that is his features.
Yes.
And this is
Sat
eternal
feature.
knowledge. But realization of the personality of Godhead Krishna is realization of all transcendental features, Sat, Sin, and Ananda, eternal
Sat,
knowledge
Chit,
and bliss.
and Ananda. So eternity, knowledge, and bliss.
Knowledge and bliss in the complete Vigrahara, in the form. So eternity, knowledge, and bliss is a complete Vigrahara of personality of Godhead.
Vigraha. Vigraha.
Vigraha.
So
Form.
that is, so when we understand Krishna in all three features: Sat, which is eternity; Chit, which is knowledge; and Ananda. Ananda is bliss. Because he has so much, whenever he has relationship with anybody, there is bliss in this relationship.
Correct.
Right? When Hanumanji is serving Krishna, Lord Ram is feeling bliss and Hanumanji is also feeling bliss. So both are feeling Anand in whatever nature they are in. When peacocks are dancing for Krishna, they are in Shantaras, but still they are giving pleasure to Krishna. Krishna is happy, and at the same time, the peacocks are also happy. When the trees give fruit to Krishna, that is Shantaras. But trees are also feeling happy. So in every relationship, there is happiness. So that is Ananda. So when we have Sat, Chit, and Ananda, then that is the complete Vigraha form of Krishna.
People with less intelligence consider the Supreme Truth to be impersonal, but he is a transcendental person, and this is confirmed in all Vedic literatures.
Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam.
Katha Upanishad. As we are all individual living beings, as we are all individual living beings and have our individuality, the supreme absolute truth is also, in the ultimate issue, a person, and realization of the personality of Godhead is realization of all the transcendental features in its complete form. The complete whole is not formless. If he is formless or if he is less than any other thing, then he cannot be the complete whole. The complete whole must have everything within our experience and beyond our experience. Otherwise, it cannot be complete.
Like if we have form and we are saying Krishna does not have a form, so that means God is less than us. How can that be possible? So this part, right, the complete whole, which is Krishna, must have everything within our experience and beyond our experience, because we cannot understand him, right? Otherwise, it cannot be complete.
Correct. The complete whole, the personality of God has immense potencies. How Krishna is acting in different potencies is also explained in Bhagavad Gita. This phenomenal world or material world in which we are placed is also complete in itself, because the 24 elements of which this material universe is a temporary manifestation. According to Sankhya philosophy, this phenomenal
So,
world or a
so
material
Baba,
world in which we are placed is also complete in itself, because the 24 elements of which this material universe is a temporary manifestation. But it is eternal, but it gets annihilated. Manifested, annihilated, manifested, annihilated.
so the material universe, which we are in, it is made of 24 elements. And the 24 elements, I don't remember all, but it is like earth, water,
Fire,
fire, air,
air,
ether, five.
water,
Then,
ether.
yeah, air. Then we have sky, we have sound, we have smell, mind, intelligence, false ego. Like with all this 24 elements, material universe is created. So that is what Srila Prabhupada is saying here.
According to Sankhya philosophy, are completely adjusted to produce complete resources which are necessary for the maintenance and subsistence of the
So
universe.
out of these 24 elements, with these combinations of these 24 elements, everything what is necessary in this material universe can be got.
There is nothing extraneous, nor is there anything needed. This manifestation has its own time fixed by the energy of the Supreme Whole. And when its time is complete, these temporary manifestations will be annihilated by the complete arrangement of the complete. There is complete facility for the small complete units. This complete facility of the small complete units, namely the living entities, to realize the complete, and all sorts of incompleteness are experienced due to incomplete knowledge of this complete. So Bhagavad Gita
Did you understand?
the complete
So
knowledge of Vedic wisdom. Yeah,
this is the complete facility.
we have not realized the complete.
Yeah, so this is a complete facility. So being in this material world, we have complete facility for the small complete units, which are jivas. We are small complete units. Complete units, but we are small. Okay. For what? To realize the complete, who is Krishna. And all sorts of incompleteness are experienced because we have incomplete knowledge of the complete. Why do we feel sad? Why do we feel unhappy? Why is there misery? Because we don't have complete knowledge of the complete. So Bhagavad Gita contains the complete knowledge of the Vedic wisdom. So what we are missing?
It means we are finite, finite.
Beings.
But we are finite complete. The small
We are
complete, but we
small,
are complete.
complete. Yeah,
But we
we are
are
small complete. Like
complete.
we have the same nature of Krishna, but in minute quantity. Same quality, but in small quantity.
All Vedic knowledge is infallible. Hindus accept Vedic knowledge to be complete and infallible. For example, cow dung in the stool of an animal. For example, cow dung is the stool of an animal, and according to Smriti or Vedic injunction, if one touches the stool of an animal, he has to take a bath to purify himself. But in the Vedic scriptures, cow dung is considered to be purifying agent. One might consider this to be contradictory, but it is accepted because it is the Vedic injunction, and indeed, by accepting this, one will not commit a mistake. Subsequently, it has been proved by modern science that cow dung contains all antiseptic properties. So Vedic knowledge is complete because it is above all doubts and mistakes. And Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Vedic knowledge. Vedic knowledge is not a question of research. Our research work is imperfect because we are researching things with imperfect senses. We have to accept perfect knowledge, which comes down, as is stated in Bhagavad Gita, by the parampara disciplic succession. We have to receive knowledge from the proper source in disciplic succession. We have to receive knowledge from the proper source in disciplic succession, beginning with the supreme spiritual master. The Lord himself handed down to a succession of spiritual masters. Arjuna, the student who took lessons from Lord Sri Krishna, accepts everything that he says without contradicting him.
So main point is Vedic knowledge we have to
Is
accept is complete, and we have to accept without putting our using our imperfect senses. And the example given is, well, if you touch stool of an animal, it is dirty. We have to purify ourselves. We have to take a bath. But Vedic knowledge says that if you touch the cow dung or you have cow urine, it is actually very purifying and it has medicinal qualities. And scientific research now has shown that, has proved that actually that is true.
So it means the Vedic scriptures or Vedic knowledge, if we are trying to attain, whatever research has been done for this Vedic knowledge, we must accept verbatim.
Exactly. And
without questioning it, because it is complete.
And the best way for us to understand Vedic knowledge is this, by disciplic succession. So we have to understand this in parampara. So somebody who has actually heard it from the right source. So that is the point.
One is not allowed to accept one portion of Bhagavad Gita and not another. So, no, we must accept Bhagavad Gita without interpretation, without deletion, and without our own whimsical participation on the matter. The Gita should be taken as the most perfect presentation of Vedic knowledge. Vedic knowledge is received from transcendental sources, and the first words were spoken by the Lord himself. The words spoken by the Lord are called apaurvasya, meaning that they are different from words spoken by the person of the mundane world, who is infected with 4 defects. A mundaner is sure to commit mistakes. 4 defects. Mistake is invariable illusion, mistakes and the tendency to cheat others, and is limited by imperfect senses. Okay, these are all the 4 defects he has, and he is seeing things from these properties or this one, and that's why he doesn't get a proper knowledge.
Right. Because we have these 4 imperfections. We are sure to commit mistakes. We are illusioned. We have tendency to cheat others, and we are limited
imperfect senses. With these 4 imperfections, one cannot deliver perfect information of all pervading knowledge. Correct, Nikhil. Now you read.
Vedic knowledge is not imparted by such defective living entities. It is not imparted. It was imparted onto the heart of Brahma, the first created living being, and Brahma in his turn disseminated this knowledge to his sons and disciples as he originally received it from the Lord. The Lord is Purnam, all perfect, and there is no possibility of his becoming subjected to the laws of material nature. One should therefore be intelligent enough to know that the Lord is the only proprietor of everything in the universe and that he is the original creator, the creator of Brahma. In the 11th chapter, the Lord is addressed as Prapi, Prapita, Prapitamaha, Prapitamaha, because Brahma is addressed as Pitamaha, the grandfather, and he is the creator of the grandfather. Krishna is the creator of the grandfather. That's why he's called Prapitamaha.
Prapitamaha.
Prapitamaha. So no one should claim to be the proprietor of anything. One should accept only things set aside for him by the Lord as his quota for his maintenance. There are many examples given of how we are to utilize those things which are set aside for us by the Lord. This is also explained in Bhagavad Gita. In the beginning, Arjuna decided that he should not fight in the battle of Kurukshetra. This was his own decision. Arjuna told the Lord that it was not possible for him to enjoy the kingdom after killing his own kinsmen. This decision was based on the body because he was thinking that the body was himself and that his bodily relations or expansions were his brothers, nephews, brothers-in-law, grandfathers, and so on. Therefore, he wanted to satisfy his bodily demands. Bhagavad Gita was spoken by the Lord just to change this view. And at the end, Arjuna decides to fight under the direction of the Lord when he says, Karishye vachanam tava. I shall act according to your word. In this world, men are not meant for quarreling like cats and dogs. Men must be intelligent to realize the importance of human life and refuse to act like ordinary animals. A human being should realize the aim of his life, and this direction is given in all Vedic literatures, and the essence is given in Bhagavad Gita. Vedic literature is meant for human beings, not for animals. Animals can kill other living animals, and there is no question of sin on their part. But if a man kills an animal for the satisfaction of his uncontrolled taste, he must be responsible for breaking the laws of nature. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is clearly explained that there are three kinds of activities according to the different modes of nature: the activities of goodness, of passion, and of ignorance. Similarly, there are three kinds of eatables also: eatables in goodness, passion, and ignorance. All of this is clearly described. And if we properly utilize the instructions of Bhagavad Gita, then our whole life will become purified. And ultimately, we will be able to reach the destination which is beyond this material sky. That destination is called the Sanatan sky, the eternal spiritual sky. In this material world, we find that everything is temporary. It comes into being, stays for some time, produces some byproducts, dwindles, and then vanishes. That is the law of the material world. Whether we use as an example this body or a piece of fruit or anything. But beyond this temporary world, there is another world of which we have information. That world consists of another nature, which is Sanatana, eternal. The Jiva, which is us, is also described as Sanatan, eternal. And the Lord is also described as Sanatan in the 11th chapter. We have an intimate relationship with the Lord. And because we are all qualitatively one, the Sanatan Dham or sky, the Sanatan, which is Supreme Personality, and the Sanatan living entities. The whole purpose of Bhagavad Gita is to revive our Sanatana, occupation, or Sanatan Dharma, which is the eternal occupation of the living entity. That is the purpose. We are temporarily engaged in different activities, but all of these activities can be purified when we give up all these temporary activities and take up the activities which are prescribed by the Supreme Lord. That is called our pure life. The Supreme Lord and his transcendental abode are both Sanatana, as are the living entities. And the combined association of the Supreme Lord and the living entities in the Sanatana abode is a perfection of human life. So that is our perfection.
ये दोबारा पढ़ना पड़ेगा बेटा. The Supreme
Really?
Lord is transcendental abode are both Sanatana, as are the living entities. So we are Sanatana, transcendental abode, and Supreme Lord, all are Sanatana. And the combined association of the Supreme Lord and the living entities in the Sanatana abode is the perfection of the human life. Okay.
So our perfection is when we go back
To
to
Sanatana.
Gopal Vrindavan and we have a relationship with Krishna. Then that is our perfection of human life. The Lord is very kind to the living entities because they are his sons. Lord Krishna declares in Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Yonishu Aham Bija Pradhapita. I am the father of all. Of course, there are all types of living entities according to their various karmas. But here the Lord claims that he is the father of all of them. Therefore, the Lord descends to reclaim all of these fallen, conditioned souls, to call them back to the Sanatan, eternal sky, so that the Sanatana, living entities, may regain their eternal Sanatan positions in eternal association with the Lord. The Lord comes himself in different incarnations, or he sends his confidential servants as sons or his associates or acharyas to reclaim the conditioned souls. So Krishna is making all efforts to reclaim us so we can go back to the Sanatan sky, eternal sky. आप पढ़ोगे?
Therefore, Sanatana Dharma does not refer to any sectarian process of religion. But Sanatana Dharma does not refer to any sectarian process of religion.
Yeah.
Because Sanatana Dharma.
Because it is not any Hindu, Muslim, Sikh. It doesn't matter because it is God, Krishna, his abode, and his relationship with us.
Correct. Krishna and his transcendental abode, Supreme Lord, his transcendental abode, and his relations with us, living entities. And this all combined association is called the Supreme Lord, and the living entity is the Sanatana abode.
Correct.
The perfection of human life. Correct. Therefore, Sanatana Dharma does not refer to any sectarian process of religion. It is the eternal function of the eternal living entities in relationship with the eternal Supreme Lord. Okay, it is the eternal function. So, function of the eternal living. We are also eternal living entities in relation with the eternal Supreme Lord. Sanatana Dharma refers, as stated previously, to the eternal occupation of the living entity. Sanatana Dharma refers, as stated previously, to the eternal occupation of the living entity. Sripad Ramanujarya has explained the word Sanatana as that which has neither beginning nor end. So when we speak of Sanatana Dharma, we must take it for granted on the authority of Sripada Ramanujarya that it has neither beginning nor end. इधर टेबल पे रख देना वहां पे टेबल पे रख देना
I'm recording.
It has neither beginning nor end. The English word religion is a little different from Sanatana. The English word religion is a little different from Sanatana Dharma. Religion conveys the idea of faith, and the faith may change. Okay, religion is nothing but an idea of faith. That's very important. Religion is the idea of faith, and faith may change. See, today you have faith in that, tomorrow you can change.
Right.
One may have faith in a particular process, and he may change this faith and adopt another. But Sanatana Dharma refers to that activity. Sanatana Dharma refers to that activity which cannot be changed. For instance, liquidity cannot be taken from water, nor can heat be taken from fire. Similarly, the eternal function of the eternal living entity cannot be taken from the living entity. The eternal function of the living entity will continue to do a eternal function.
Which is seva of Krishna. You cannot take that away.
Correct. Sanatana Dharma is eternally integral with the living entity. When we speak of Sanatana Dharma, therefore, we must take it for granted on the authority of Sripad Ramanachari that it has neither beginning nor end. Okay? That which has neither end nor beginning must not be sectarian, for it cannot be limited by any boundaries. Those belonging to some sectarian faith will wrongly consider that Sanatana Dharma, those belonging to the sectarian faith, Sanatana Dharma is also sectarian. But if we go deeply into the matter and consider it in the light of modern science, it is possible for us to see that Sanatana Dharma is the business of all the people of the world. No, nay, of all the living entities of the actually all the living entities of the world, the Sanatana Dharma is the process.
So what Srila Prabhupada is trying to explain is, it is the business of all the people of the world. Then he says, no, actually it is the process of all the living entities in the universe. Cow, dog, ants, they're all jivas, just different bodies. And they all have a relationship with Krishna, which is their eternal relationship, and that is their Sanatan Dharma.
Correct. Now, Sanatana religious faith may have beginning in the annals of human history. Another religious faith may have beginning in the annals. But there is no beginning to the history of Sanatana Dharma because it remains eternally with the living entities. Okay. Insofar as the living entities are concerned, the authoritative Shastra state that the living entity has neither birth nor death. Insofar as the living entities are concerned, the authoritative Shastra state that the living entity has neither birth nor death. In the Gita, it is stated that the living entity is never born and he never dies. He is eternal and indestructible, and he continues to live after the destruction of his temporary material body. In reference to the concept of Sanatana Dharma, we must try to understand the concept of religion. From the Sanskrit root meaning of the word, Dharma refers to that which is constantly existing with a particular object. We conclude that there is heat and light along with the fire. Without heat and light, there is no meaning to the word fire. Similarly, we must discover the essential part of the living being, that part which is in constant companion with the Lord Krishna, right? That constant companion is his eternal quality, and that eternal quality is his eternal religion. Okay, so our eternal quality and eternal religion is to remember Lord Krishna.
Correct.
And rebuild our relations with
Krishna.
Lord Krishna by serving him in those 5 ways.
Correct.
Friend or
but that we don't know. It will be revealed as we take up this process of devotional service.
correct.
So as we are doing devotional service, Krishna himself will reveal who we are and what is our relationship with Krishna.
Yeah. When Sanatana Goswami, no, you already read.
Yeah. When Sanatan Goswami asked Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu about the Swarup of every living being, the Lord replied that the Swarup or constitutional position of the living being is the rendering of the service of to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is our Swarup. If we analyze the statement of Lord Chaitanya's, we can easily see
it to this constitutional body.
Correct. Our transcendental body.
Our transcendental body. So he is referring to that. So this Sarup comes because the kind of service we have offered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
Correct. So Mahaprabhu said that the Swarup is rendering service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Now, what kind of service, in what mode service we do, that is again 5 ways. Shanta, Dasya, Vatsalya, Sakhya, and Madhurya.
Give 1 minute, Peter. Battery is low. I think we'll read for another 10 minutes.
Okay.
Good, Beta. Now at least we are able to understand.
Yeah.
No.
If we analyze this statement of Lord Chaitanya's, we can easily see that every living being is constantly engaged in rendering service to another living being. Correct? If we analyze the statement that our constitutional position was rendering service to the Supreme Lord, now analyze the statement what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has made, we can easily see every living being is constantly engaged in rendering service to another living being. A living being serves another living being in various capacities. By doing so, the living entity enjoys life. The lower animals serve human beings as servants serve their master. A serves B master, B serves C master, C serves D master, and so on. Under these circumstances, we can see that one friend serves another friend, the mother serves the son, the wife serves the husband serves the wife, and so on. If we go on searching in this spirit, it will be seen that there is no exception in the society of living beings to the activity of service. The politician presents his manifesto for the public to convince them of his capacity for service. The voters therefore give the politician their valuable votes, thinking that he will render valuable service to society. The shopkeeper serves the customer, and the artisan serves the capitalist. The capitalist serves the family, and the family serves the state in the terms of eternal capacity of the eternal living beings. In this way, we can see that no living being is exempt from rendering service to another living beings. And therefore, we can safely conclude that the service is the constant companion of the living being, and that the rendering of service is the eternal religion of the living being. Yet, man professes to belong to a particular type of faith with reference to a particular time and circumstance, and thus claims to be a Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Buddhist, or an adherent of any other sect. Such designations are non-Sanatan Dharma. A Hindu may change his faith to become a Muslim, or a Muslim may change his faith to become a Hindu, or a Christian may change his faith, and so on. But in all circumstances, the change of religious faith does not affect the eternal occupation of rendering service to others. The Hindu, Muslim, or Christian in all circumstances is a servant of someone. Thus, to profess a particular type of faith is not to profess one Sanatan Dharma. The rendering of service is Sanatan Dharma.
Okay, the rendering of service, Sanatana, the faith is not profess one's Sanatana Dharma. The faith doesn't say if you are Muslim and all that, and then, but the rendering of the service is Sanatana Dharma. What kind of a service you are rendering it?
Correct.
In relation with the Lord Krishna, that or
That
Lord, that decides
that's
our.
Factually, we are related to the Supreme Lord in service. The Supreme Lord is the supreme enjoyer, and we, living entities, are his servitors. We are created for his enjoyment, and if we participate in that eternal enjoyment with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, we become happy. We cannot become happy otherwise. It is not possible to be happy independently, just as no one part of the body can be happy without cooperating with the stomach. It is not possible for the living entity to be happy without rendering transcendental loving service unto the Supreme Lord. आप पढ़ोगे क्या? Your voice is very low. I don't know what happened.
The Bhagavad Gita, no?
Yeah, good.
In the Bhagavad Gita, worship of different demigods or rendering service to them is not approved. It is stated in the 7th chapter, 20th verse. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto demigods and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own natures. Those whose intelligence has been stolen by material desires surrender unto a demigod and follow the particular rules and regulations of worship according to their own nature. Here it is plainly said that those who are directed by lust worship the demigods and not the Supreme Lord Krishna. When we mention the name Krishna, we do not refer to any sectarian name. Krishna means the highest pleasure, and it is confirmed that the Supreme Lord is the reservoir or storehouse of all pleasures. We are all hankering after pleasure. The living entities, like the Lord, are full of consciousness and they are after happiness. The living entities, like the Lord, are full of consciousness and they are after happiness. The Lord is perpetually happy, and if the living entities associate with the Lord, cooperate with Him, cooperate with Him, and take part in His association, then they also become happy. Associate, cooperate, and take part in His association, they also become happy. And Lord is perpetually happy. The Lord descends to the mortal bird to show his pastimes in the Vrindavan, which are full of happiness. When Lord Shri Krishna was in Vrindavan, his activities with his cowherd boys, with his damsel friends, with the other inhabitants of Vrindavan, and with the cows were all full of happiness. The total population of Vrindavan knew nothing but Krishna. But Lord Krishna even discouraged his father Nanda Maharaj from worshipping the demigod Indra because he wanted to establish the fact that people need not worship any demigod. They need only worship the Supreme Lord because their ultimate goal is to return to his abode. The abode of Lord Krishna is described in the Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, 6th verse. That supreme abode of mine is not illuminated by the sun or moon, nor by fire or electricity. Those who reach it never return to this material world. This verse gives a description of that eternal sky. Of course, we have a material conception of the sky and we think of it in relationship to the sun, moon, stars, and so on. But in this verse, the Lord states that in the eternal sky, there is no need for the sun, nor for the moon, nor electricity, nor fire, or any kind, because the spiritual sky is already illuminated by the Brahma Jyotir, the rays emanating from the Supreme Lord. That is his effulgence.
His effulgence, correct.
Effulgence. We are trying with difficulty to reach other planets, but it is not difficult to understand the abode of the Supreme Lord. This abode is referred to as Goloko. In this Brahma Samhita, it is, Goloka.
Goloka, yeah.
Goloka, you call it.
Goloka.
Goloka. Goloka. Acha, Goloka.
Golok.
Golo. Go. You must go to Loka. Goloka.
That also is there, but Golok is loka of cows. Gau, na? Gau.
Okay.
That's why it is interesting. We stay in Gokulam.
Yeah.
If you notice, Gokulam.
Goloka. Okay.
Gokul.
In the Brahma Samhita, it is beautifully described. Golaka, Eva, Niva. Okay. The Lord resides eternally in his abode, Goloka. Yet he can be approached from this world. And to this end, the Lord comes to manifest. His real form sucks in Anand Vigraha. When he manifests this form, there is no need for our imagining what he looks like. To discourage such imaginative speculation, he descends and exhibits himself as he is, as Satya Shyam
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the less intelligent deride him because he comes as one of us and plays with us as a human being. But because of this, we should not consider Lord one of us. It is by his omnipotency that he presents himself in his real form before us and displays his pastimes, which are replicas of those pastimes found in his abode. बस आज यहीं पे फिनिश करते हैं बेटा.
ठीक है पा. Yeah, let's stop.
नहीं बहुत अच्छा हुआ आज.
Yeah. Okay. So let me stop.